Yeah.
Go.
Yep.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to Book World: The Great Escape. I'm author CJ Peterson. My co-host over here is author Michael Scott Clifton. And today we have a special guest down below. We have Library Director Brandy Winn. Welcome, Brandy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Today we're going to be talking, before we get started though, we'll be talking about Lee-Bardwell Public Library and all their different programs, and what Brandy does something a little bit special for indie authors. But before we get there, this weekend we have Brazoria Comic-Con down in Lake Jackson, Texas. I will be there with Super Hubby. Check out the different guests. I know we're going to have multiple Power Rangers along with Babu. I know we're going to have Vic McNania will be there, and I know that we're going to have Scream, the guy who was one of the second guys from Scream. So make sure to check out all those guests. You can find out more at BrazoriaComicCon.com. Check that out. I will be running around. I will have the M3 tags, so don't miss it. BrazoriaComicCon.com. Saturday and Sunday we will be bringing a little puppy there with us as well, so make sure to check us out. I will be that streak running across the floor as I always am, running the floor. So check it out, BrazoriaComicCon.com, Saturday and Sunday down Lake Jackson, Texas, at Lake Jackson Civic Center. Don't miss it. Okay, Brandy.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So you do something special for indie authors. Let's start there, because I was excited when Mike was telling me about it.
Okay, so when I was, talking earlier, I received a grant from the J. Frank Dobie Foundation last year, and the intention was to try to do some edification of our children's section. However, because I had a really good experience with an event that I had for a local artist, I realized that there were more artists in every way, shape, and form in the area than even I knew about. So my idea was, instead of doing what I was planning on doing, I would go to a conference and kind of talk to authors there and take the money that I was going to spend and buy books from authors who are local, who are from Texas, who are independent. Anybody who, in my opinion, can write and have the courage to publish a book deserves for it to be sold to somebody. So I want people to understand that I get it so that people can read it, so they can make the decision whether or not they need to add it to their own collection.
Okay, now I put a link into the comments. My comments aren't going into the YouTube today, but that one actually did go into YouTube, and it actually went into Facebook. So what is the link that I put in there?
That is to the Venmo. That's the Venmo for our friends of the Lee-Bardwell Public Library.
Okay.
So that if they would want to donate to that, so that they can give me the go ahead to buy more books, which I'm actually planning on doing in June, then they're more than welcome to do that.
Okay. And isn't that how you initially met Mike? By doing something when you...
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was at the Texas Author and Reader Con in Irving last year.
Yep.
Very cool.
And Brandy came by, and of course all the authors there were indie authors, most of them from the Texas area, probably 95% of them. And Brandy said, "Hey, I want to buy your books." Now, music to your ears as an indie author, when you're at these events. And knowing that she was from the Gladewater Library there, it's just right down the road from Mount Pleasant. And it was wonderful seeing her do that. And she's going around. There was, of course, like I said, all the authors were in the Texas area from that region. And I thought, hey, this she'd make a good guest for Book World because A, she's a librarian, B, she's buying books, and C, they're from indie authors. And and in matter of fact, when we were talking about this before the podcast started, then you were saying that you have a raft of books there at the Gladewater Library that are from authors all over the area that you didn't even realize actually lived in and around Gladewater.
I can say I can't off the top of my head remember exactly how many authors are represented in this collection, but I would say probably about 1,000 books.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So if I'm not buying at a conference, then I'm going to websites, I'm going to Amazon, I'm asking everyone, where do you want me to buy from? Because I want you to get the most money for your book. And,
I'm going to have 19 novels. You're welcome to go to mine.
I will absolutely do that.
I'm just saying. I used to live in Texas, so I used to be local.
I'll even try to find the ones that are like out of print. If I can find it, I'm going to get it.
So have you had comments from readers who have read these books that you can share that would warm the cockles of the indie authors' hearts?
So everyone that has actually checked out any of our books have been delighted. They've been excited. Our section isn't officially open yet. We're still building it out. I'm putting in panels. I mean, it's going to be a whole thing. We're officially opening it on March 14th with our Meet the Author event. Okay. But it is open, so people are able to check those books out. And I mean, we usually direct our patrons if they're, like, what do you suggest that we read? We direct them there first before they go off into the rest of the stacks to look for any other books from, a well-known author or someone, I'd rather have them look at a series from an independent author first before they go look for their James Patterson or CJ Box or, one of the ones that are really popular or well-known.
So do you have like different days or something where you actually have the authors come in?
So not yet. I do have a book club that meets every month, and I've been trying to get 2 independent authors to come in during the year. However, starting after this Meet the Author event in March, I'm actually going to open up 2 book clubs. One is going to be specifically independent authors, and it's going to, the genres are going to range from horror to romance to even nonfiction. Mm-hmm. And so we'll have a separate book club meeting that's going to be genre specific and independent author specific.
Very cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's really cool.
It is.
Now, what other activities do you like to do at the library itself?
So we have a monthly kids night, a monthly parents night. We have a crochet club that we have that meets every other Tuesday, and that's a lot of fun because we have a whole lot of women coming in and they just sit there and they commune and cackle, and it's amazing. It's so much fun. You get to hear a lot of gossip that way. We have our book club. We have a community garden in the spring and summer. We have a seed library that, is available. During the summer, we have summer reading. We have a Harry Potter day. We do have, so our summer reading is always a lot of fun because we open it with a water balloon fight and we close it with a water balloon fight with the fire department. So, they bring out the grass truck and spray the kids with the big water hose. And that's always a lot of fun too. But we do, little different events throughout. And sometimes it just depends on what national day it is, because sometimes we'll have, National Ice Cream Day coming up. And so I'll look at the calendar and I'm like, okay, well, let's make homemade ice cream in little bags. So we teach kids how to make ice cream. And that's always, really fun. They get to mess things up and get things sticky. And we do a lot of some STEM events here and there, but mostly it's just trying to come up with something different to get people in, because for me, this is a community center. It's not necessarily just a library.
So I know, of course, I think I already know the answer. I was a public educator for 38 years. Reading is the foundation of learning. There are other subjects like math and science, but the foundation of all that starts and actually ends with reading and the comprehension of reading. So I pretty much already know the answer to this question, but what do you, as a library director, what do you think the main function and goal of a library either is or should be?
So reading, yes, is the most important part of it. But I've told people also, I don't have this building open as just a repository for books. I want something that people can come in, they can pull down a book, they have ideas. It's something that will create a sense of community maybe, or a sense of importance within themselves. We have a safe place here. I want a safe place, not just for, the physical person that you are, but also the emotional and the mental person that you are. And, for me, getting away through books is part of that emotional and that mental stability that I need. And part of all of that is wanting to share that and making sure that people who need that are able to get it.
I remember growing up, we used to do things like movie nights and days, like through the summers, and we would do, things like the headphones with the, ding, turn the page, and it would read to you and stuff like that. Do they still have stuff like that as well?
We do not, and there is a reason for that. It's so in 2021, during the winter storm here, we had a huge water leak and it flooded the entire library. And I would say probably a quarter of the library books were destroyed.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah. And then the library director who was here at the time got sick during the time that they decided they were going to remodel, because it almost didn't happen. It almost was just closed down. But the owner of the local newspaper became part of Friends, and she actually went to the city manager and the mayor, and she was like, "You are not going to close that library. I will get the money. I will find the money. We will rebuild." So her name was Suzanne Bardwell, and unfortunately she died in a car accident before we could reopen.
Wow.
And so, but that's part of the reason why we are the Lee-Bardwell Public Library. So, it almost didn't happen, and almost didn't continue on. And I really did forget where I was going with that.
Well, I can see that it's kind of an emotional thing, library losing a third of the books, almost having to shut down, and then having to white knight, so to speak, show up and help, rescue the library. And,
Yes, but part of the reason why we didn't have all the other stuff, now that you refreshed my memory on that, the some of all of that was lost as well. Some of the electronics were lost, some of that. However, we do still have movie nights where, if they want to come in, we have popcorn, we have, as much fun stuff as possible. They're able to bring blankets and pillows and things like that, especially during the summer.
Right. So going back to my public educator kind of background, what do you think, what is your feelings about comics and graphic novels being offered in libraries as opposed to, quote, regular books?
We have a large manga section,
Okay.
and graphic novels. Comic books, not so much, because they're harder to keep. We don't have magazines and newspapers and stuff like that. But, if it can be plastered on and made able to keep it together, then we've got it in our library. It's important to me that kids and adults even read anything, and if that's
Right.
what's going to get them to read, then that's what we're going to have.
That's right.
So back to the loss. Are you slowly building what was lost?
Yes, and I've actually been able to weed some of the older books. I like to kind of joke about it, but we had a book on how to troubleshoot your Pentium 3 processor. It was this thick. And so I was like, well, I'm going to make this new section with all of these local and independent authors. So I'm going to need room. So, I built up for the last 2 years, more books, more new releases. More, and so I was looking at our nonfiction section. I was like, even though, my heart is with history, something written in the 1920s, even some things, they don't necessarily have historic value anymore.
Right.
And I'm a public librarian. I don't need those things in my library anyway. That's not the point of a public library. So I was able to get rid of quite a few things. I think I weeded over 3,000 books. Just to make room. And I mean, I don't need a scientific discovery book on, space and time that was written in the 1980s. That's not relevant today. A lot of the, what you need to know about your autistic child, those books, there are other books coming out that have more progressive terminology, more progressive medical advancements that are coming out that definitely are obsolete. Were obsolete.
So you're weeding out the obsolete books to make room for the new ones.
Yes.
Which actually is time consuming, obviously, but it's actually considering the loss of books and what had happened in that flood, seems like to be a good thing, because you're actually replacing them with more books that are germane to the times in which we live in.
Yes, which is something that they weren't able to do when they started putting everything back into the library. They had just enough to remodel. They didn't have enough to bring in more books.
So if someone, because a good friend of mine, Helen Thompson, used to be the librarian here at the Mount Pleasant Public Library. So if someone wants to donate a trove of books, going back to your, we really don't want to replace old books with old books, so to speak. What is the process by someone, if someone wanted to donate books, that you actually, what do I say, that actually you could use, okay? Do they just show up to the library and say, hey, we'd like to donate these books? Is there a process, or how does that work?
As much as I would like to say that doesn't happen, that they just show up, it happens all the time. And at this point, I'm not taking any donated books unless they were bought, published within the last 5 years. And even then, they can't have, certain things, like they can't have mold on them. They can't have little critters crawling on them. And you would be surprised how many we get that are like that. And honestly, I really will only take fiction. The nonfiction books that we usually get in, somebody wants to donate, are like physicians' desk references. We can't use those. Yes. And those are old, and I don't know why anyone would have them. I don't understand, but if that's what they're into, that's fine. There are some nonfiction books that I'll take. I'm probably not going to take a devotional that has, writing in the margins. And a lot of them usually have that, where they actually have lines for you to write whatever. And, I'm not going to take something like that. But a fiction, and I actually prefer that they take those books to our little free libraries around town. And we have 3 of them here in the city. And if they can't get to the little free libraries, then we'll take those books there for them. Like, we'll take them in and then take them to those little libraries.
I wondered about that because Gladewater is kind of the antique capital of East Texas, and I'm sure a lot of really old books might find their way to your doorstep if you'd allow it.
I don't allow it. And it, like I said, so I have a background in history. I'm a historian as well. Mm-hmm. And so, it hurts my heart sometimes to say no, but I know that my mission here at the library is not about that. But I can make recommendations on where to send them if, depending on the subject matter.
So basically you're saying if they open the door and they step in the library and you're 20 or 30 feet away and can already smell the mildew, that, hey, these might not be the ones we want at.
I'm like, you need to turn around and go back.
Oh,
so you're getting ready to buy more books soon. So the link that we provided will help you to buy more books, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if somebody wanted to maybe start a new donation type thing, how do they go about doing that?
Can you explain what you meant by that? Like a new donation to?
Like if somebody wanted to maybe help you guys start another fund, how would they do that? So you could have another fund to also feed off of. Is that possible?
I don't know the answer to that because we're city owned.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's not a thing.
Yeah.
We're a nonprofit. So
we can
electronics. That's why I was curious.
Yeah, we can have donations come in, check or cash, or if somebody wants to walk in. But as far as anything else goes, because we are city owned and city run, then we have to, everything goes through our treasurer at the city.
Okay. I know that you guys said that you were low on electronics and everything too. So,
as far as like, we don't have a, we have plenty of computers. We lost like anything that you could just listen along and read along with. So we have CDs here. If you wanted to listen to a CD, you'd have to bring your own device to do that. But I was thinking more along the lines of, the little headphones that you would wear, and our microfilm reader
Oh no.
was demolished. But there is a grant for the Portal of Texas History that we received that we're able to ship everything to the University of North Texas, and they're putting it onto their website. So
Okay, cool.
they're scanning everything.
Okay.
And I
So
know
you're still able to save some of that stuff.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
we're kind of running out of time, but like most libraries, I'm assuming that you are building up a audio collection of audiobooks. Can you kind of give some insight into that?
So we have, I would say, probably about 5 to 600 CDs, audiobooks, books on CD. We don't subscribe to any electronic,
Okay.
Audible or anything like that, mainly because we are a small library and it is a budget through the city. And
Yeah.
a lot of our patrons, they want to come in and pick up a book and actually look at the book and read it.
Okay.
So that's why we haven't kind of branched out that way. Although I have, during summer reading, what we do is we have electronic devices that we give away as prizes. So we give 2 Kindles, 2 Amazon Fires, 2 laptops, and then something for the little kids. So we give those out. We do a drawing. The more you read, the more you write me a book review or kind of like a book report, the more times you get your name into the drawing. And depending on what type of book it is and some other parameters, if it's on book lists, if it's a Texas author, if it's a nonfiction book, those will get you 2 times put your name in. So we usually have a very large bucket from all age groups that we draw every, twice at the very end of our summer reading program.
That's
Awesome.
really cool. Those are some very nice prizes.
Sure are.
We give a little bit here and there depending on, what we're doing. So like Harry Potter Day, we have, the whole shindig. We have Harry Potter food and drink. We have little gifts that we give out. At the beginning of the summer, they get a bag with all of the information that they need in it. Pencils, pens, stickers, just the fun little bookmarks, the stuff that you would normally give out. Some of them get little $10 gift cards from Amazon. But for the most part, our big prizes, that's what we use to kind of get people to actually understand how important that we think reading is.
Very cool. Well, Brandy, thank you so much for coming. We really enjoyed you. For those who are listening, you can head over to learn more about Lee-Bardwell Public Library on Facebook under LEEPUBLICLIBRARY. That's Lee Public Library on Facebook. You can find out more about them over there. Brandy, thank you so much. For those who want to help out, there is the link that I was able to actually get to work on our YouTubes. That is the only comment that actually worked on YouTube. It is also on the Facebook, so I was able to populate over there. Thank you guys for watching. Next week we'll have the amazing multi-award winning author Patty Wiseman, who does Christian romance. We'll be talking about that genre and find out more about her and her work next week. Same time, same sandbox. Catch you guys next week. Bye.
See ya.